how can you hold somebody accountable for something that's not their fault? Would you be willing to say, you know what, Congress, all these studies that we embark upon and all of these crazy policies and regulations that we premise on these studies, if we can't, if we don't show proof that they work, would you be willing to resign? I mean, why can y'all hold the American citizen accountable, but yet we can't hold y'all accountable? You see, I mean, it is patently unfair for you to weight someone's record, to tarnish someone's record when it is not their fault. We have a court system that's designed to weight that. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
How do you feel about onboard data recorders being mandated by the federal government? Do you support that?
Well, the agency does.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. You work for the President of the United States, is that not correct?
Correct.
So he's your boss.
Correct.
See, I'm used to the business world. You know, the president of a company, that's who I report to. I usually, if he puts out an edict or a policy, I would think as an employee, I would follow that. Do you know that the president has singled out onboard recorders as costing small businesses over $2 billion to implement, and that he believes that they should not have been implemented? Did you not get that memo that he sent to the speaker?
Well, I'm familiar with the numbers, and I also know that...
or are you familiar with his position? Is his position that he supports it or he doesn't support it?
He does. He
does support it. So what he sent to the speaker is basically a lie?
The OMB and our agency made it clear that there is a net gain to industry of over $2 billion a year by the implementation of EOBRs.
And that gain, it's going to cost the industry, according to the president, $2 billion. And 90% of that industry are small businesses. Now, the big guys, they like it, okay? Because when they implement it already. Because their fleets are so large that that's a better way for them to manage those fleets. And, of course, when you implement it on a little guy, okay, it drives him out of business and the big guy gets bigger. And I'm sick and tired of that over here. Because what happens is big corporations come up here, they convince y'all to do something that they want to do. If they want those onboard recorders, that's their business. But don't force the little guy out there who's struggling to make ends meet.
Would the gentleman yield for
the gentleman
a question? Mr. Bronrod, if I'm driving my car and I'm in a stop sign and another car comes in and hit me, will the insurance company score that against me in terms of my premium?
As a passenger vehicle driver?
No, as a
or
driver.
as a truck driver? To be honest, I don't know the answer with respect to...
well, I do know because I was driving, but what I'm saying is that the private sector, the insurance company, will factor that in.
Reclaiming
so
my
there's
time.
not much different.
Well, reclaiming my time, I would disagree.
Thank you for yielding.
I would disagree in the fact that, well, first of all, the insurance companies are private contractors. Okay, that's a private contract between an individual and another company. The government is not involved in that contract. And if certain insurance companies penalize you when you do nothing wrong, then you should seek out an insurance company that doesn't penalize you for doing so. And I don't believe, because I've had accidents before, and those accidents that were not my fault, my insurance company did not penalize me for that. Sure, they were reported, but they did not penalize me for somebody rear-ending me. I would say that your insurance company is getting away with murder. But going back to these onboard recorders, I don't understand how the president gets up in front of the national media and says to the American people that he is for small businesses and that he is for doing away with regulations that burden small businesses. And yet you, as his representative, you as his mouthpiece, come here and tell us that you are willing and promote a regulation that imposes a $2 billion cost on small businesses in this country. Can you explain that to me? I mean, because
Yes.
it doesn't add up where I come from.
4,000 people die every year on our highways. Our mission, congressionally mandated mission, is to stop it. 100,000 people are injured every year. Our charge is safety, and EOBRs will help save hundreds of lives a year. EOBRs will also have a net savings to industry in the billions.
But so you're willing to compromise all of these small businesses, the American dream out there. You can't find a better way to save 4,000 people a year? For 4,000 people, is that right? 4,000 people, we're going to spend $2 billion. Huh? 500,000? Did you?
500,000 each person.
Yeah, that's a cost of 500,000 per person. Maybe we should just pay those people not to get on the road. You know, you look, I'm trying to understand, because at some point, there becomes a balance between the industry and the safety.
Yes.
Okay? And we've seen over the last 20 years that y'all have done a terrible job of doing this. Not just you, but this federal government has done it. That's why we have this committee, because it's breaking the small businesses out there. And so I don't understand when the boss says, whoa, I don't like this idea. You just go plowing right ahead and say, don't worry, boss. I think you're wrong. Or maybe the boss is telling the American people one thing and you something else. What is it? Is he telling you to go ahead with it? Are you getting a mandate from the White House that you should go ahead, and that basically the letter he sent to the Speaker of the House is disingenuous?
Well, we went with respect to EOBRs.
Let me see a yes or no.
I'm not sure there is a yes or no.
I just, again, want to give you an opportunity to answer the question of what position is this administration, as a representative of the President of the United States, do you stand 100% behind small businesses, and do you take up the President on his challenge to eliminate burdensome regulations that cost billions of dollars?
Yes.
Okay, so do I also have your commitment that we're not going to continue to move forward on onboard recorders for 90% of an industry that doesn't want them or doesn't need them, and it's going to cost for them? It's going to be an additional cost for them?
Well, the EOBRs are cost effective, and we are.
Whatever they're going to cost, but you just said you can't. That's an oxymoron. You're saying one thing, but you're meaning another. You're saying, oh, yeah, don't worry, small businesses, we with y'all. But on the same token, you're telling them, here's the bill, sell your truck, maybe to one of the big majors, 6 of the big majors. 90% of this industry is small businesses. You're going to impose a $2 billion regulation on the backs of an industry that is made up of 90% small business owners? Is that what you're going to do?
It's not how we see it.
But that's what you're going to do. It might not be how you see it. I like to deal with facts. Is it fact it's going to cost those small businesses $2 billion? Is that a fact?
I would like to ask the gentleman, what is that $2 billion tax that you're talking about? Where is that from?
Well, the President of the United States sent to the Speaker of the House a list of preliminary cost estimates for regulations that he deemed he was going to look into and get and basically get rid of. And part of that list was these electronic onboard recorders and hours of service supporting documents. And he has, this has come from the White House, $2 billion.
Well, at least he's doing something that is proactive.
Right,
you
but
know,
he's
when
not.
it comes to rules and regulation, the Bush administration issued
No, but the Bush
one of the
administration's
highest
gone.
number of rules and
Reclaiming my
regulations.
time. The Bush
What are you
administration is
talking about?
gone. I'm trying to let the president, look, I agree with him. I'm with him. Very seldom is me and the president seeing eye to eye, but I'm with him on this. His problem is the guy who works for him is not. Can you hold him accountable?
Well, you know what? Come to my district where a Chinese bus company got into a crash in the Bronx and 16 people were killed. Ask the Department of Labor how much is worth one person who is killed. Please give me a break.
Yeah, well, that's fine. If that's the way you feel, make sure you tell all those small businesses out there and the little guy out there that you're not really for them.
No, it's not about it. It's about creating a balanced approach and providing a mechanism where small businesses have the opportunity to come before them and express and provide their input.
But with all due respect, the other side of the aisle claims to be the party of the little guy. We sit here in this committee every day, with all due respect, and claim, when we go back to our districts, that we for the little guy. And the president gets up there and he gets on prime time and he says that. But you know what? The actions don't match the rhetoric. That's the only problem. Look, if you don't want to be with the little guy, don't be with him, but just be honest. That's all.